Imagine this. You've been dreaming of building a custom home for years, and you're ready to get started, but maybe you're having a hard time finding an architect or a builder. Or maybe you're finding that things are costing a lot more than you expected them to. Or there are tasks that keep on delaying the start of your project. Now imagine if you had a better understanding of what you needed to do to get your project off to a better start. Hi, I'm Chris Novelli with N3 Architecture, and today we're going to talk about the 5 best ways to prepare for your custom home project. First off is to have your finances in place, or at least have a basic understanding of your finances, and maybe even having some initial conversations with the bank to determine what would be allowed to go on the construction loan versus what you're going to have to pay for out of pocket. And understanding what your final mortgage might look like, and then setting a maximum budget for the project. You also need to have a handle on all of the other costs other than construction, such as your cost for acquiring the land, the cost for hiring an architect, the cost for hiring a surveyor, if you need a septic design, if you need well water, if you need a landscape designer or an interior designer. You need to have a good understanding of what all these costs will be in order to subtract those from your maximum project budget. And also to determine how much money out of pocket you're going to have to come up with up front, and then to have that money set aside, because very quickly in the process of starting a project, you're going to have to start paying those vendors. Number 2 would be to have land purchased, right? You can't build a house without a site, and you really can't even design a home without a site either. Unless your dream is of a generic cookie cutter production home that can go anywhere. But most of my clients dream of having something custom designed for them and for the site that their house will be on. If you haven't yet purchased land, I would highly recommend bringing in your architect before you make the purchase. Have your architect evaluate 2 or 3 different properties. It will cost you a little bit more money up front, but you will get a better insight onto what would be possible to build on each of those different properties, and you're going to end up with a better result. So that's called a feasibility study, and hiring your architect to complete a feasibility study before you purchase the land is a great tip. Number 3 is to have a survey of the property completed. I'm not talking about the plot plans that you get at a mortgage closing or that you might find on a city or town's GIS system. No, I'm not talking about that. That might be useful enough to get your architect started, but what is actually needed is a survey completed by a licensed surveyor that has the property lines and the meets and the bounds and the topography and the utilities and any easements and all the stuff that goes along with having a real legitimate survey. To get this survey, it's going to cost you thousands of dollars and probably at least a few months in time. So getting that task done early is a good thing, because ideally you would want to have that survey in hand by the time your architect is starting the design work. Number 4 is to research what you like and what you don't like. And I want to caution you. I want you to stay away from looking at the style of house that you want. I know it's tempting. I know you want to go there and talk about the style, but I want you to hold off on that for a little while. And maybe you want to look at some inspirational pictures, but don't go overboard, because it can get very overwhelming. If you have to look at inspirational photos, or if you want to start saving an album of photos, try to limit it to 5 pictures for each space. 5 pictures of a kitchen, 5 pictures of a bathroom, 5 pictures of the exterior. And just don't save everything that you like. Be really specific and understand what you actually like about those photos and how you might want something similar implemented. So you can do that. That's great. But what I really want you to do is I want you to focus on what you like and what you don't like about your current home, or any home that you've ever lived in, or any home that you've ever visited. Start a running list of things that you like and things that you don't like. Also, start a running list of your daily routines for you and for all the members of your family that are going to be living in that home. What does your morning routine look like? What does your evening routine look like? Winter versus summer. morning versus night, weekend versus weekday. Start writing these down and write it down not just once, but over and over and over again. Try to find the similarities. Try to find the unique moments within your week, within your year, because those are the things that are really going to drive the design and make it custom to you. And number 5, have an understanding of the time frame that's going to be needed to complete all of the design and the pre-design work on your home. So it may take a long time to find your perfect building lot. It may take a long time to get finances in place, not just in terms of the construction loan with the bank, but also the out-of-pocket money that you're going to have to pay up front. And it may take you a while to find an architect that is perfect for you. And then once you find that architect, that doesn't mean that they're going to be ready to work on your project right away. Most likely you're going to have to wait several months, maybe even up to 6 months, for that architect to be able to start working on your project. Because architects, just like contractors, we're not sitting around waiting for you to call and then can start immediately upon having our initial discussion with you. It takes a lot of time to onboard a new client, and then it takes a lot of time to do that analysis work before you can even begin the design work. And then just to get through sort of schematic design is going to take 3 to 6 months at a minimum. And that could go up or down depending on the size and complexity of the house and how quickly you can make decisions. I've even seen the schematic design take up to 12 to 18 months. It really depends on the specific project and the specific client that you're working with. And then from there, once the schematic design is complete, it could be another 3 to 4 months or more to complete the construction drawings. And it doesn't always take that long. Sometimes it could be done in less time, again, based on the size and the complexity of your project. But we've gone through all that time now, and we haven't even involved a builder yet. We haven't even gotten any quotes or any bids. It takes time to do that. And then once you have the contractor lined up that you want to work with, and you have an agreed upon budget, it doesn't mean that the contractor is going to be ready to start work then either. And then there's also permitting. Some areas of the country and some areas of the world, it's really easy to get a building permit. And other areas, it's really hard to get a building permit. I've talked to people in various parts of the United States where it takes several months to get a building permit. And then in places like Massachusetts, where I am, it's usually relatively quick to get a building permit for a home. So I would say if you're thinking of building a custom home, you need to be contacting your architect at least a minimum of 1 year before you hope to start building your project. And then all those other things that I mentioned, acquiring the land, getting your finances in order, getting a survey, and all the other things, that has to happen even before. So you really need to be putting the wheels in motion probably 18 months, 24 months before you hope to start building. So I really hope that this video has helped you in the planning of your future custom home. Feel free to go to my website where I have some additional resources for homeowners. Thank you.